to work through here. Gwen getting banned away a number of times. They're going to be throwing some of these targeted bans. You know, we can clearly tell that MKOI is very prepared. They are targeting some of these top laners. Last time it was Cassante, you know, as well as Jace that was getting banned out. This time the Gragas is going to be banned out. The Jax is going to be banned out. Sion was already played, so that is his top 3 already gone. Rumble was already played, so that's his top 4 champions already gone. Shen was already played. York was already played. So, you know, out of the champions that he actually has played so far this split, it's just Ornn and Set remaining. So he is definitely being pushed as far as the champion pool is concerned. And it'll be interesting to see if MKOI want to throw another ban, and yes, they do. So they're going to triple ban top. This is a strategy I was talking about earlier. If you think someone has a champion pool that you can attack, you get to game 4, you get to game 5, naturally so many of the champions are already gone. Now you really pinch it. And all of a sudden, the only champion that he still has up and available that he's actually played this split is a Set. And do you really want to blind pick a Set? No, you probably don't. But guess what? You're on blue side, so you're going to have to bring something else out, or you are going to have to be in that position.
But because you have focused on the top lane in all of these bans, you leave the Pantheon open, and we've seen just how strong this pick can be, especially teamed up with something like an Ahri if you want that pick potential. Vi coming out from MKOI, they're going to lock in the Kalista, yet to win here at MSI.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of Kalista. I don't think that, you know, it's a bad pick by any means, but people have really kind of developed this strategy of basically just playing, okay, someone goes Kalista, we're going to pick Poke, and we're going to outrange you, and the 2v2 all of a sudden becomes very, very difficult. Kalista has gotten a number of nerfs over the last couple of patches, which have really brought down her power as far as some of the damage, even some of the HP, her tankiness and stuff, and survivability. So it's harder to force the all-ins, which really was the way that she kind of came back in some of these matchups where you are outranged. So to me, champions like Ashe become really, really high priority. I think that Nico becomes really high priority because these are the kind of picks that really make Kalista struggle. And yes, you can still have that team fight impact, but it is very hard when you're getting heavily outranged. And Victor, I think, fits alongside that. You know, if it were me, I would be thinking towards, you know, Nico or even that Ashe.
Currently is going to be the Cassante locked in here for Driver. Usually we see rest on this champion for CFO, so obviously MKOI's target banning has pushed Driver onto something he hasn't played this spring. I'm sure he's comfortable on it, but when we saw Rest play something that usually Driver plays, it was not a pretty experience. Misleveling abilities on the Ornn, building in a questionable fashion. Does that go both ways? I think Driver has been the better of the 2 top laners. The question is, can he pilot this Cassante as the Renata is locked in for Alvaro?
We will be finding that out here in this game, absolutely. I mean, his 3rd most played all time. He has not played at this split, but of course, yeah, they have really been heavily investing into the 6-man roster. They swap back and forth constantly. They have them focused on certain champions. So that is the question. It's like, we know he can play it in the past, but how many Cassante games have you played, you know, in the last X months? You know, how polished are you on this if this is not usually one of the ones that you are expected to play? So it is going to be interesting. Lucian being banned away, so concerned about the potential of a Lucian Nami or something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, Nautilus is still available if you're looking for an engaged support here for CFO. Obviously, the Renata kind of mitigates that a little bit with the hostile takeover, with a handshake, with the bailout. Kalista Renata, a pairing we see very often. Senna will be the 2nd ban for MKOI. It's an Ahri taken away by CFO. No real surprises there. Vi Ahri is a tale as old as time. The pick potential from that combination is just too powerful.
Yeah, that is absolutely the classic. You know, with the Senna as well as the Lucian getting banned out again, I am thinking more about champions like the Ashe. We have seen Doggo play it. He does only have the 1 pick on it. You know, MF is something that some people also do like into it. That does have a pretty strong early lane. Obviously, you can get mid lane control pretty damn well as well. That is a long way to travel there to come see some CFO. So a lot of supporters in the house. It's been great to see, you know, not just, you know, FlyQuest and some of these kind of more regional teams getting support, but we have had fans from all over the world here in Vancouver coming out to support their squads, which you love to see, as Orianna is that final ban. And now,
if you're a CFO fan here, you're delighted with how things have been going. 2-1 up against MKOI. The last time CFO or anyone from the APAC region took down one of these major regions, you know, the LTA North, LCK, LPL, or LEC, in a best of 5 was 2012, Azael, 13 years ago, when TPA beat Azubu Frost, Azubu Blaze. I can't remember which of the Azubus it was, but one of the 2. But all the way back in that World Championship, a huge time ago, it was Frost. It was Frost. And now we'll see if MKOI are the ones to suffer the fate of Azubu Frost. Renekton locked in for them into that Cassante. Smolder being hovered by CFO, but they will go instead towards the Aphelios.
Fresh Aphelios, wow.
Okay.
That is some confidence to actually slam this down. So they're not going the route that I kind of expected, which was more you just outrange, you outpoke. Yes, Aphelios does have some good early range with the sniper gun, but that's not really what you're thinking of when you think of this pick as a poke champ. Thresh, obviously, a lot of people aren't really a big fan of it because the execution barrier is so high. This champion can look incredible, but if you are not on point, it is not going to work out. And we're getting A-Soul from JoJo here coming out. That is honestly really hype. He does have one
Homeland. Yeah, it was great. Ginger looks for a little bit of poke. Looks like it's just going to be a relatively traditional line of scrimmage here. JoJo is stepping forward as Elioya and Milwin look for a ward. Driver coming in from the side, but Alvaro I don't think has been spotted here. If Driver does step a little bit too far forward, and he does, Alvaro didn't level up the handshake, so couldn't pull Driver back. In the end, MKOI with 5 players here. The hook from Kaiwing is going to connect. Breath of Light coming out from JoJo. MKOI will push CFO back.
Yeah, he's able to land that hook, but JoJo just standing there, being able to get some damage back himself, and the minions now just spawning, so not going to be too much of a concern. You can see JoJo going Comet here, is going Resolve secondary, so second win here, expecting to be getting poked by a Victor. When you are playing against control mages on the A-Soul, it can be a little bit difficult at times because when you start queuing, you are locked in place, right? You are not moving. It is very easy to hit Victor lasers. It's very easy to walk forward and drop the gravity well, try to put that pressure on. And CFO are going to start this game off very aggressively on the enemy blue buff here. They will obviously have that information, and we'll see how Elioya wants to respond. He's warded out on Raptors, so they're going to know if he goes for a cross-map play and tries to split this map.
We'll see if it is a split map or if Elioya comes across and just makes sure to get, or try to get, his Wolves and his Gromp. Bot lane push always so vital in these sorts of situations. Junja on the Wolves has that level 2. Elioya comes around the corner. We'll spot Junja here. JoJo taking a little bit of damage in the mid lane. Elioya just, assuming he delays Junja as much as he is being delayed, it's fine. Junja obviously has to walk all the way back into his own jungle, but with Kaiwing moving up, Elioya has to back away.
Exactly, he's going to have to back away here, so Junja will be able to take away these camps, and now you are in this kind of weird situation where you're saying, okay, well, can I still cross map? Or do I just have to kind of accept that I'm just going to get 3 camps and then try to play for a scuttle or look for a gank here? As JoJo will be constantly getting poked out here. Doggo and Kaiwing did get the push here early on. And Doggo utilizing that early range with the sniper gun, just constantly auto Supa. Every time Supa is trying to hit a minion, Doggo is standing in the minions and hitting him because he has that additional range. So playing that out really, really well. And you can see Alvaro getting over there, spotting that Junja is still in the area, but Junja will be able to finish off that camp. And now the question remains.
Ooh, JoJo has to walk away from the Siphon Power. Singularity trying to get the stacks, won't get any of the minions as well, which will be disappointing for the MKOI mid.
So Elioya is going to go try to get in this cross map here. And now the question becomes, does Junja actually try to defend his top side, or does he just accept, hey, I'm going to take these 3 camps and then back off? And he's clearly going towards that top side. So has pings on it, knows that they could be over there. Elioya does not have smite, neither does Junja, but it looks like the camp is going to be dead before he gets there.
Yeah, Elioya will be able to secure this blue. Sees Junja and decides to back away. He's not going to contest around the Gromp. Especially Honkyu has that teleport and would be able to get back on the map pretty quickly. Elioya seeing if Junja goes in here for the Scuttle Crab. Junja can just path down towards the bot lane because his bot side is still pushing in. So will be an exchange of crabs, but Junja about 2 camps up overall.
Yep, going to be feeling pretty good about that, but not honestly that big of a deal for Elioya. Yes, you lost some of those early camps, but at least you got Scuttle, you stole 1 away, and we will see, his Wolves and whatnot respawning relatively soon. So we'll see how much of an advantage Junja gets and what he can really do with it.
Obviously
early play, wow.
Yeah, really nice play there from Doggo and from Kaiwing, cycling through those Aphelios guns. And currently has the Infernum, which obviously gives you good wave clear. And the Graviton really nice into the Callisto as well. The ability just to lock her down with that empowered Q.
Elioya is just walking straight down here. I think they're looking for a gank. Will we see Alvaro commit for a Q flash?
Flash away from Kaiwing. Alvaro was trying to time it at the same time as the death sentence was coming out, so that Kaiwing was locked in that animation. It's one of Thresh's main weaknesses, is the fact that his animation is quite long on that death sentence, so you can manage to catch him out while he is stuck in that animation. Elioya passing through the mid lane here. Looks like he's just trying to help JoJo get the push out so JoJo can go back and pick up probably a bit of a stacking item, maybe the tier early on here on the Aurelion Soul.
Yeah, we'll see where he wants to go. A lot of the ace souls that I've been seeing recently haven't really been feeling that they need to go for mana items.
Okay.
So they have been going, sometimes just straight Leandries. I've been even seeing sometimes just straight Rylai's and things like this. So there are a lot of different options. We'll see where JoJo wants to go here. But obviously the Raptors have respawned, so Elioya going to be able to grab that. Now the Wolves, the Gromp going to be back up, so he is going to be cycling through this. Junja will be ahead a couple camps and is going to be feeling quite good about that. We should have the earlier level 6 result.
I mean, speaking of being ahead, Doggo has almost twice Super CS. And this is Kalista Renata, which is known for its early pressure in the lane. Doggo and Kaiwing having a whale of a time down here. The 500 gold lead obviously facilitated by the fact that they were able to get one of those plates early on in the bot lane. And also you have to think for Super and Alvaro, this side of the map wasn't controlled by MKOI at all. So they always had to play a little bit further back because of the threat of Junja.
Yeah, they absolutely did. But I mean, CFO's bot lane played it out really, really well.
Yeah.
Utilizing the additional sniper range in those early autos, constantly poking away at Supa, keeping him pushed in. And as a result, it's been very difficult here for Supa and Alvaro. We'll have to see, when you hit 6, sometimes you can find an all-in that just kind of turns things around as this sort of bot lane duo. But topside going pretty well for CFO also, pretty much dead even as far as the farm is concerned. Driver's already TP'd back with that Bramble Vest. Mirwin is going back to base now, but there's not going to be any sort of a swap. They're just heading right back down towards bot, so this 2v2 will continue. And Supa has the upgraded boots. Doggo still has yet to base, though. He stayed around for a really long time. I think they were trying to see, was there going to be a swap? What was going on? But he should have a really good buy now that he goes back.
It was also, they saw Elioya clearing a ward as they were doing the dragon, and then Elioya based in the pixel bush. And it's like, well, we can't really safely walk back down through here, so that he went back around, waited for Elioya to be off the map, and then was able to get back down there, push out the wave. See the Sky's Descent coming out from JoJo, just for a little bit of poke onto Honku, but Siphon Power shielding is enough. Honku pops through his refillable as well.
Yeah, it's not going to do that much damage early on, so you can just use it also for Stardust. Every time you hit a champion, you do get 5 additional Stardust there, which is obviously that permanent scaling on all of your abilities, so is quite powerful. And it does help you just push out that wave. It's one of these things that you see in a lot of control range matchups, whether it is, the Orianna using Shockwave early, or Victor ult, or
Even
Annie and all these things.
Annie was exactly chucking out for the wave control. Elioya looking for mid here, yet to hit that level 6, about halfway there. Junja has just ticked over to it, so we have to be aware of that Grand Starfall, see what he wants to do on the map, where he wants to be. Bot lane seems like a key point to go towards. Doggo now has the Moonlight Vigil complete as well, that level 6 ticking over for him, and it's MKOI who are initiating the lane swap here, bringing Super up towards the top side.
They are, but it is MKOI that's also going to be dropping the wave to do it, because they didn't actually answer on bot side. They didn't have TP when they make this swap happen. So Mirwin is going to miss, I think, at least most of that wave, if not the entire wave, as he goes down bot to collect it. We can see Doggo is going in for the collector first item, so he's going to be more towards that spellcaster style build here, where it is a lot of that burst damage. We can see a lot of different builds these days for Aphelios. Sometimes people are just going more auto attack focused, things like the Untal, more towards the scaling with JoJo.
Astral Flight out from JoJo, flashes first, then gets the Astral Flight, gets himself to safety. Always a risk with Junja there. Cease and desist from Elioya available, but don't really want to jump onto the Pantheon without the rest of your team there to follow up. Grubs up. JoJo's ultimate still yet to come off cooldown. Arcane Storm used by Honku to clear out the wave in mid. Elioya's going for it. Cease and desist. Junja's immediately going to stun him up. The handshake coming out as well as Honku has a couple of spears in his back, and Super needs the rend. He finds it. Alvaro survives the last tower shot, and MKOI on the board.
Yeah, Honku getting a bit disrespectful there. You saw everyone on that side brush, and he said, no, it's fine. I can just clear this out. Meanwhile, though, Doggo is getting plates topside, and they're denying that CS. So, honestly, not that bad for CFO, but of course, Honku going to be unhappy that he did go down there. Cost him his flash as well.
Maybe when trading with Driver, but it's a Cassante. He should just be able to walk this one out. Still has the all-out as well, if necessary. Mirwin just slices and dices back towards the wave. Falling Star coming out as Doggo with the Severum and the Crescendum combination. Just trying to force JoJo low, but doesn't really get too much damage out. Does still have the Moonlight Vigil, which when you use it with that red gun gives you a big health explosion. If you use it with the white, obviously you get a huge amount of chakrams that can do quite a lot of work in a team fight. But pretty accelerated is Doggo, 84 CS, a couple of plates to his name as well, about 400 gold ahead of Super right now. Moonlight Vigil just short of clipping JoJo.
Yeah, and Doggo just trying to push out this wave, and we'll be getting out of there with the lantern. So was looking for a bit of poke, couldn't quite find it. JoJo did go for the early lost chapter here, so we'll see where he wants to build. If it's just going to be Blackfire Torch, Blackfire Torch Leandries can be relatively popular. You could go for a late tier, but I'm not kind of expecting that at this point. And we'll just be going for heavy scaling. His Driver's going to take a fight.
Goes all out onto Mirwin. Slice and Dice has already been used. Mirwin does still have his flash, but so does Driver if he wants to follow up. Mirwin, he took the fight. Ruthless Predator for the stun across the wall. Elioya can come and join it. Gets the knock-up on the Driver, who flashes away, but the flash chase is there. Driver trying to survive through this Kaiwing. Almost there, almost in range to get him out. The hook just short of hitting Mirwin, but the follow-up from Doggo is superb. CFO turned the fight around.
Yeah, Doggo gets in there with the flash, able to finish him off, grabbing that kill. That is big. Mirwin, though, was sidestepping so many abilities from Driver. Honestly, it was going to look like a pretty easy solo kill to me, but Mirwin was just dodging back and forth, dodging so many of those Intofo strikes and was able to survive. But that survival ended up kind of baiting him in a little bit to try to turn this around, and Doggo and Kaiwing get down there. At the very least, they do get the flash. We can watch this one more time, though. Pathmaker doesn't connect. He goes all out, and then look at Mirwin constantly sidestepping here. This Pathmaker not quite connecting. That Q going to be sidestepped. This one was tried to be sidestepped, couldn't quite actually do it, though, because it was fairly wide. Then the Q3 misses as well, and this is where you're thinking, all right, MKOI have turned it around. They're going to get this kill, but in comes the bot lane. Driver going aggressive even with that Pathmaker, and then you can see the root there from Doggo coming in with the Gravitum, flashes forward, finishes him off, grabs the kill. Gonna be really happy about it. Doggo has just been so incredible for the team, and they're looking again.
Gonna land there as Alvaro pulled back with the face call. Hostile takeover is gonna hit onto Doggo, but only him, and doesn't really do too much when he switched across towards that Gravitum gun. Smart move there from Doggo just to change the weapons before he was hit with that Berserk. CFO doing a really good job on the map once again, reminiscent of game one, where although MKOI are making some plays, CFO always getting a lot on the rest of the map. Vault Breaker coming in from Elioya. Alvaro forced away. Elioya taking a fight here, basically on his lonesome. Jojo can come in with a falling star, looking for the stun. Will land it onto Ginger, but MKOI unable to press forward any further.
They're not, and their recalls got delayed again, so look where Supa is. He's still not recalled. He's back by that tier 2 tower. So guess what Doggo's doing? He is farming plates. He is denying minions. This has been a theme throughout the series, their ability to push in these waves, to play with pressure, to deny experience and resources from MKOI pretty consistently throughout. And as a result, it's plus 20 CS, it's plus a kill, it's all 1,000 gold almost here for Doggo, and he's going to get this first tower here quite easily, you have to think. They're up 2K at 12 minutes in.
And they've taken all of the neutral objectives as well. 3 grubs, 2 drakes. CFO in such a strong position here. MKOI have been left reeling, and they're trying to get things back on the map, but as you can see, like, their early game pressure hasn't given them anything, and now you're really reliant on Jojo getting to a point where he's scaled up, but he's only sitting on 99 Stardust stats right now. You need that number to be well up above 200 before you're really doing a lot of work on the ASOL.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be tough. You're trying to think about, okay, what is the X factor here? Where can we find plays? Where can we make things happen? Because CFO does outscale you. Yep. Yes, you do have the ASOL that can absolutely be a game changer, but Victor is no slouch. The Aphelios, the Cassante, these are all champions that scale incredibly well. Do definitely give the kind of scaling advantage in the support role to MKOI. I do think that Renata can be really powerful, can be a game changer, but we'll see what they can get done. Doggo has just been incredible throughout this series. Hadn't died in either of their wins. Of course, obviously did lose that last game, but again, looking really comfortable and off to a great start.
Now we're going to start pushing through this mid lane. Already 5 plates gone on the bottom side as CFO secured the first tower of the game. Looking to take the second here in mid, and will manage to take it. 2 off top as well. Super! Moonlight Vigil. If that long range Q had hit, he would have gone down. Doggo just absolutely gliding on this Aphelios right now.
Yeah, he is feeling really confident at this point. Kalista has been struggling so far at MSI. 0-6 now at MSI. And we'll see if we can get the first win here for Supa. He's going to need to do it. Pick up that first win for Kalista at MSI, or their team's time here is over. Jojo, you can see with that upgraded ultimate, and that is where you really want to fight. It is going to be the Blackfire Torch that he does grab. And so we'll see what he's going to be able to get done. That first fight that you go for, probably going to try to save it here for that next dragon and maybe try to make a big impact there. One of the things you can do is really put the pressure on the ASOL and try to force them to use that ultimate.
Cease and desist onto Honkyu, who puts down the gravity well. Will land the double stun, but doesn't get out of it in time. Ginger now. Oh, flash from Elioya, just short of catching Ginger. Smites exchanged as they both look for the slow. TP coming in behind here as the falling scar was used in the mid lane. Alvaro looking for Kaiwing and Doggo. I think it was just an engage from Doggo and Kaiwing, really, that forced Jojo to pop that ultimate.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. If you can put pressure on the ASOL and force them to use it when it's not a team fight, you lose so much power. That ultimate is ridiculously strong. And when you have the upgraded ultimate, that is the kind of game-changing ability that you do have. So Doggo And Kaiwing, I really want to see how they were able to actually force that out, but still, good play from MKOI. Yes, they couldn't find the Q flash to follow it up, but they did get a kill on the top side. They knocked down Hongq. Mirwin not feeling confident to actually step out of the brush, doesn't know if anyone's behind him, so he's just going to watch the tower fall.
Also, the risk of the Grand Starfall always there from the Pantheon, can just jump in, especially when the tower's low. He jumps in, autos the tower, and then you're in a 2v1 without the safety of your turret. Doggo and Kaiwing having an absolute whale of a time in this game. 3K lead for them. And for MKOI, it's looking really bleak. For the APAC region, though, for the first time since 2012, on the brink of a best of 5, a win against one of these major regions. Breath of Light coming out from Jojo, Arcane Storm used by Hongq just to harass him down and clear out the way.
Also cancels the channel, so it is going to be able to interrupt that ASOL Q. One of the things that is kind of nice about those interactions, but still, they get the flash off of him. They're putting pressure on Hongq. This is the way that MKOI have said, this is how we're going to come back in the game. Force the Victor out to the side lanes, obviously not a very mobile champion, and then prey on him with that Vi. That is your ability to try to pick someone off, to constantly create opportunities to get kills, to buy time, to create pressure, because clearly you do not want to be fighting around this bot lane right now. Supa is woefully far behind. Doggo is going to be closing in on his IE, it feels like. He has the expensive components already. He's 1.7k ahead. And if he can have a good fight, it could just be curtains for MKOI, so they have got to make sure they are locking him down.
And the big question now for MKOI is, do you fight third Drake? It would put CFO on Soul Point if they take it, obviously. I think no. I think you are too far behind, but then the looming threat always is Soul. They can just force you into every fight, every 5 minutes around that dragon.
It's so hard, right? It is a really difficult answer, but like Ocean Soul for Cassante, well, you're probably going to lose the game, but at the same time, if you show up this far behind with no empowered ASOL ult, it is really, really tough.
Flank attempt here by MKOI. Elioya goes in. Doggo flashes away from the cease and desist range early. Jojo joining the fray. There's the cease and desist onto Hongq. The Sun follows up. Super and Alvo chasing in as Doggo unleashes with the Severum Crescendum, but he's taken out. Elioya falls as well. Junja's the one to get the kill. Super with the bailout on him. It expires, and Junja can't quite get the damage. The spear off to the side. Alvo's going to get chased out by Hongq. Mirwin flashing forward across the wall, looking for the stun there as well. Alvo surviving. Jojo trying to rejoin the fray. Mirwin will take one. The Astral Flight forward as Kaiwing flashes to safety as well. Riftheld will get the charge into mid. The tower will go over to CFO, but MKOI have shown a brief sign of life.
I mean, that is huge. They're able to get a lot of kills there. They get both the summoners off of Doggo and get the kill. Alvaro was able to get out with almost no health. Multiple members there from MKOI surviving. This initial engage, the flash looks funny, but he's trying to stay out of range of the Vi ultimate. But then Supa says, you know what? I can close the gap. I'll do it myself. Throws in Alvaro, goes over. The bailout is there to protect him. And Supa able to survive on the side. And then Alvaro, they're saying, all right, well, at least we can get a chase down here. At least we can get a kill here. But Supa there, quick cleanse, hops to the side to avoid the Comet Spear from Junja. That would have executed him absolutely. And then Alvaro, well, surely you're going to get him. No, because Mirwin arrives, comes in with his flash, able to peel as well. That is really big. They get the kills. The bot lane both survive with a sliver of health. And now MKOI back with a new lease on life, but they will still be losing the dragon, and that looming threat is still there. Doggo has the IE now as well, and he is right back to pushing.
Yeah, you're still not in the game. You are still massively behind as MKOI. You need another couple of fights like that if you're going to get back into it. Great for Supa that he picked up the shutdown goal, but it's still a massive lead for Doggo. Falling Star coming out from Jojo. Astral Flight will get him across the wall and out of Driver's clutches. The mid lane tier 2 very low here for MKOI. They've already lost the tier 2 on the bottom side alongside Soul Point, and even though MKOI have just won that last fight, the gold lead extends to 3.4k for CFO.
Yeah, just the pressure on the map has been relentless for them. Every time they get ahead, they really are playing the map well, moving around, pressuring these towers, denying resources, stealing away jungle camps. You know, Driver even being able to get up towards that top lane and defend the tier 1. Use the all out a bit early though. You definitely wanted to save that interrupt for the Astral Flight to try to interrupt that. I think his thought process was, you know, I could immune the stun from the ulti with my all out and then maybe get him with a Q3 to try to interrupt there, but Jojo does get away and is critically close to that 200 stacks. You have to think having that empowered ultimate pretty soon again.
Yeah.
And does have a second item now, so he does have the Rylai's in, has hit level 13, so Jojo definitely the hope here. And MKOI gonna need him to step up in this big moment to try to turn things around, right this ship somewhat.
It's taking on a lot of water right now. Good thing for MKOI is they have a little bit of time before that Ocean Soul rears its head for CFO. The Artican, though, up in 25 seconds, and Doggo still a full item ahead of his opposite man. Honkyu farming up on the side lanes. Game hasn't really been about him. He has had a really good series, but he's doing what he needs to do. Staying relatively even with Jojo. Is about 500 gold ahead just because of the passive gold that CFO have picked up across the map, even though he is slightly behind in farm. Has that Seekers as his second item, but isn't going to go straight towards the Zhonyas. He will... Usually you build it after you pop the Seekers. Like, if I've used that in the fight, well, then I'll go up towards the Zhonyas, but no point upgrading it until you actually use the initial.
And I think in a game like this, getting an early Seekers actually makes quite some sense because they know, hey, if we win this next fight, that could be game deciding, but MKOI don't want to give them the opportunity here. They're starting this up. They do have the Kalista. They're going to try to secure this. They're even TPing for it. Both TPs coming in. MKOI can just turn on the TP.
They're going to look for Driver on that TP. In comes Cassante, but immediately dashes away with the Pathmaker. Artican's going to reset. Super's going to take a little bit of damage from it as it goes back into its pit. Kaiwing clearing out the vision here as well. Driver does have that all-out and the flash. Importantly, no flash at the moment for Doggo, but a Mikhail's for Kaiwing, a Lantern for Kaiwing. Driver stepping up again into Alvaro. No flash as well for Super as they put the spears into the Artican once again. A Comet Spear from Junja looking for the steal. Driver going in. The skies descend. Really a game changer in a fight like this, but Alvaro's already down to half HP. Look how far Doggo is back from the team. That's the safety of his tower there. Astral Flight forward from Jojo, trying to get onto Honkyu, gets the knock-up, and Lyoya down to half HP though. Junja dashes back in onto Super. Alvaro with a hostile takeover is going to land it, but not onto Doggo, and that's the key target. Mirwin with the Dominus looking for the flank position, but he can't find it, so MKOI have to disengage. Honkyu still chasing and can't quite get the damage in. There's the stopwatch, but here comes the Grand Starfall. The bailout enough to bring Jojo back, but Doggo has a Moonlight Vigil, and he's sending MKOI to the grave. The dash in is not enough for Mirwin as CFO come out on top.
MKOI tried to force it here. They bet their game on a battle over the Otacon with the empowered Asol ultimate, but they cannot make it work. They lose multiple members here. 3 fall down. They lose the Otacon, and CFO will even be able to reset in time. Let's watch this one more time. As Junja goes in here, he flashes out. The hostile takeover comes over, and he's not able to actually connect on Doggo. Mirwin constantly looking for an angle to flank here, but he's kind of separated from the rest of the team. Can't really find a way, and then Honkyu flashes forward. Alvaro is incredibly low, so Junja says, I am going for it. But the bailout comes through, buys some time until Doggo gets in range, nails the ulti, knocks down a double, and then Mirwin is isolated in a 1v3. That's an easy kill to add in as well. CFO in full control of this game. MKOI are going to have to fight again in a minute here. 40 seconds now until that soul is up and available. They have to find a way to make this fight work, you have to think, or it is done for them at MSI.
No skies descend for Jojo. No flashes for anyone but Super and Mirwin on MKOI. How do you get on the backline? How do you get on Doggo? He was untouched in the previous fight, still has his cleanse and his flash and his threat and a Mikhail's and a Pantheon and a Cassante in front of him. He'll take the tier 2 tower in the mid lane. They push Mirwin back. Driver just clearing out waves down towards this bottom side, and now CFO retreat towards the Dragon. It's going to be a recall coming out from Honkyu in that mid lane. He has the TP though, so he can rejoin the fray in just a second. MKOI start up the Drake, and there's the teleport from Honkyu.
Yeah, they're starting it up, and it's going to be all down to this Driver trying to threaten the flanking position here, but MKOI may just get pincered.
Driver could just all out onto Super. Does have that up, but no flash for him. Mirwin forced away towards the top side. CFO take control over the Dragon. Elioya goes in, only onto Kaiwing. Doggo's still untouched. Mirwin looking for the flank position. The Falling Star comes down. The hostile takeover is going to hit on Doggo, but immediately cleanses away, and Super's already down. Driver on the back line doing so much work here. Elioya with the bailout can't kill off Junja. And there's the soul. And the soul of EU is ripped right out of their very bodies. CFO cleaning up the fight and looking for the Grand Starfall to make it the ace. Comet Spear just wide. Junja can't see over the wall. Mirwin with the slice and dice. Kaiwing with the lantern flash, and Mirwin will not be allowed how to survive.
It is a clean ace, and the question is, what more can they go for? Elyoya critically during the bailout stole the dragon, so Soul did not go over, but still 5 for 0 here. They're gonna crack the base as well. CFO are looking incredibly strong, but that smite from Elyoya, the only thing
huge.
that I think keeps some hope alive. MKOI started this up very, very early. They go in here, Elyoya goes forward, and it's a great stun that comes across from the ulti from JoJo, but then he gets pulled over the wall by Driver. He's isolated, he's knocked down immediately by the Cassante, and it becomes a fight on 2 sides. Elyoya, last seconds of the bailout, steals away with the smite. Had he gone down again, it would have been absolutely over. Still, it is a dire situation, but there is at least some hope still here for MKOI. And then Mirwin sidestepping as much as he possibly can, but CFO chasing him down. Flash Flay, easy enough with the lantern to grab that last kill.
I was so sure in the moment the CFO had managed to get the soul there last second from Elyoya with the smite through the bailout, but still an 8,000 gold lead for CFO. Elyoya has that cease and desist. Doggo still has his flash, only had to use the cleanse, and now has the Lord Dominic's regards complete as well.
I mean, Doggo is just a monster. This guy is the problem. You have to kill Doggo. That is the only way you're going to be able to win a fight. This guy is ridiculously strong, and this is the last time APAC, now LCP, actually won an EUNA or Chinese or Korean team in a best of 5. Taking down one of those teams in a series like this would be massive for them. And CFO looking to try to do just that, looking for this upset and to try to prove that first stand, not a fluke. This team is here to play. This team is here to play with the best.
Yeah, caught out by Driver here, and Tofu's go wide for that Q3. Flank position from CFO again, but they've done this so well in the games where they've had a lead. Just deny vision out of this topside jungle. Make sure that around the Baron, MKOI are in total darkness. Sky's Descend available to JoJo. Has 300 stacks now on this Aurelion Soul. Junja looking for JoJo. There's the Sky's Descend. Junja forces Mirwin back towards the side. Honky with a stopwatch. Also takeover coming out, but doesn't hit. Onto Doggo once again, who has Severin Castrendum. Great guns to fight. For the moment, I'm not going to be able to go any further on it.
And with no ultimate, they're going to go straight to the Baron here. All it got was the zonies off of Honku and a hit Driver. That was really all it accomplished. And now MKOI are going to have to try to get back in, find a way to win a fight without their key ultimates.
JoJo showing on the bot wave as well. Would have to teleport up here. They're going to go for the battle. Elyoya trying to go the long way around to look for a steal. There it goes. The smite secures it. Junja will get the Baron for CFO. 3 minutes on the clock now, and 2 minutes into that, the Ocean Drake comes up once again.
Absolutely. I mean, JoJo just desperately trying to push on this bot side, seeing if he can get some gold back, but there's no way he's going to be able to actually finish off this tower. He knows it. He has to just go back to base. They have to try to go bounty hunting, try to find some way to pick up some gold to try to pull this back, but you're 9,000 gold behind. And again, the biggest problem is that it's so isolated on Doggo. This guy is miles ahead of where Supa is, and they know it. It's really the key member. All you have to do as CFO is protect this guy, make sure that he can stand and fire, and you are going to win every fight.
And you have so many tools to do so as well. Driver with the all-out. Junja can jump in with the Grand Starfall to distract the back. You've got the Lantern as well, coming out from Kaiwing alongside that Chaos and Redemption. For MKOI yet to pick up a tower in this game. That's part of the reason they're so far behind. They just haven't really got any of that standing gold off the map, whereas Doggo has just had it injected right into his veins. JoJo trying to farm up towards his third item, has the Fated Ashes and the Haunting Guys, so Leandri's just cresting over the horizon if he can get that little bit of extra gold, but CFO are denying everything out of the MKOI jungle.
And the vision is such a problem. You know, you look at the mini-map here, you have Elyoya trying to go for this deep kind of flank angle. There's no wards in this whole section for MKOI, so even after they're able to actually have this spawn, how do they get over there? How do they actually try to defend?
Oh, JoJo teleports in. Driver looking for that flank position once again. The Singularity out from JoJo will hold the wave for now. Breath of Light as well to try and clear out some of these bound up minions. Driver in the mid lane is on that inhibitor. And MKOI aren't trying to defend that. The Infernum almost just wipes them. The Redemption coming down almost takes out Alvaro, but immediately MKOI have to back away. A Moonlight Vigil from Doggo made me think of Aphelios of yesterday.
That was like 300 years.
That was just absolutely absurd from the CFO AD carry, now knocking on the Nexus. CFO, just a single kill away, you have to feel, from this best of 5 victory. They'll take down one Nexus tower. Elyoya still looking for the flank, but he's marked. Mirwin dashing in, Jojo forced away by the Arcane Storm. Doggo, he knows Elyoya's there, and he's not even the one pushing in right now. Jojo goes in with the Astral Flight. Mikhail's away on Hongkyu as he flashes. The Nexus Tower down to half HP. Doggo still just waiting for Elyoya. The Nexus Tower, they can't clear the minions quickly enough, so it's gonna fall. All Out comes out. There's the Falling Star. Hostile takeover coming across the side as well as Driver is down. Junja runs to fight his teammates and runs away from MKOI.
Really nicely done there by MKOI. They do actually hold onto the base. Elyoya, though, gonna get spotted. He's gotta be careful. They're just gonna ult in with the Pantheon for the Dragon. They're going straight for the soul. Elyoya has gotta get over here and find some way to actually steal this, and Junja knows it, so he's not giving him time. Elyoya realizes, I have no vision, I have no chance, I can't die here or the game will just end. So you have to give up the soul. Doggo is playing so far back there, and the reason is he knows it doesn't matter if Vi ults me. If no one can follow up, I'm in no danger. So he was just kind of marking the Vi, not allowing him to come in for any sort of a play.
That was the MasterCard priceless moment of the game as CFO secure the Ocean Soul. They have a teleport on Driver, none on Hongkyu. There's a ward in the base and pings towards the Nexus. Doggo now, 4 items. Rapid fire cannon with Gravitum is a very sticky situation to find yourself playing against.
I mean, there's not even any Nexus towers, right? You know, you could just walk in and finish the game if they feel like it, but at the same time, I think, you know, the smarter play may just be playing it slow, playing it steady, play through the side lanes, allow those super minions to draw the pressure, go for that triple inhib. Instead, they're looking for a potential pick here. They're seeing, does MKOI get greedy for some vision in their own jungle?
Well, they get a tiny bit of it, but MKOI back away after placing a couple of very superficial wards. CFO will push them out. 5 players grouped up in this mid lane. GA finish for Junja. Yet to see a 3rd item out of Hongkyu. As we've said, game not really about him at all. Singularity comes down and MKOI's wave clear is solid for the moment. Double super minions on the bot side though, about to push in. Junja pings on the wave and starts to crash that forward.
Yeah, CFO moments away, you have to think, from a potential match here with AL. Looking to try to close this one out.
Hook misses. Dominus out from Mirwin. Elyoya looking for the flank position. Hostile takeover used as well, but CFO just back away and then reset. Junja going in. Falling Star coming out as they dive onto Doggo, but he cleanses and flashes, and now he's barking. Doggo with the chase in. CFO cleaning up the fight. The Nexus in their eyes. After 13 years of hurt, the light of the LCP shines bright.